My name's Max Townshend, and I'm the head of Townshend Audio, a company that I set up in 1975, and we manufacture high-end audio equipment, but not at seriously high-end prices. And I built valve amplifiers around that as a kid, and it went on from there. I did engineering at university, and I've worked in engineering quite a bit. I've worked in the Air Force, I've worked on anti-submarine warfare planes. I'm from Perth in Western Australia. I came to England in 1978. I'd started up Townshend Audio in 1975 in Sydney, and we were doing the parabolic stylus, which is a long contact diamond. But the one thing that we are focusing on mainly is the isolation. And what we're doing is we're isolating the audio equipment right down to very, very low frequencies. And that is true isolation, where we're breaking the connection between the floor and the equipment, especially the speakers. But we also have to do the amplifiers, record players. But now people are begging for me to do another turntable, so I'm going to have to do another turntable. But also the other things we've done is cables. We've been making cables for a long time. I'm a great believer in treating the cable as a network and optimizing the network between the amp and the speaker. What's going on in the cable is you're trying to take a lot of power from the amplifier into the speaker, and the source is a very low impedance source, and you've got to send that power down to the speaker, and you want all of that power to go into the speaker and come out as sound. You don't want to have any reflections in the cable. And if you don't get the geometry of the cable right, you get loads and loads of reflections. It's like a water hammer effect up and down the cable. And you can measure it on the oscilloscope. It's predicted by the science, and you can hear the difference. And when you make it right, there's some magic in the cable. The other rule we break is to float the speaker. See here? You can see it's on very, very soft, springy suspension, which prevents sound traveling from the floor to the speaker and the speaker to the floor from about 4 hertz up. And if you break that link, some magic happens. First of all, the energy that you're draining into the floor through spikes is no longer being drained. It comes out as extra sound because you're no longer coupling to the ground, and there's no noise in the building, and it gets clearer. You lose a tiny bit of bass, about 0.01 dB, because the cabinet can move and you're letting the cabinet move. But it basically sounds louder and clearer, and everybody who hears it just seems to love it. Yeah, well, at high frequencies, the cabinet moves as one block. But when you've got a speaker on the floor, you've got like a ruler in a vise, and if you get a sound, you've got a resonance between the cabinet and the floor, and that smears the bass notes and also transmits the sound into the floor. But when you've got it free in space, if the cabinet moves, it just moves like this. There's no ongoing ringing. I have one other little product, and that's this little ribbon super tweeter here, which is something I introduced about 20 years ago, that gives output between 6 kilohertz at about 70 dB, and then from 20 kilohertz up to 100 kilohertz, it's at about 80 dB, 90 dB. A lot of people say you can't hear these high frequencies. You can when they're mixed in with the main music. On their own, you can't hear them, but take them away from the music, and there's a huge, big difference. And that's the little super tweeter, and then down here, we have this little control unit. It's called the Allegri Plus in this instance. It's got an input selector, 6 inputs. It's got a volume, 24-step volume control, and a mute. And on the back, you've got 6 pairs of stereo inputs and 2 pairs of stereo outputs. And this input 6 here is duplicated on the front, so you can plug in a little source and just select 6, and you don't have to get around the back. It's very, very simple. It's based on an auto transformer design, and it's been compared with preamps costing up to well, hundreds of thousands of euros, and it's still a clear winner. All it does is attenuate. Whereas with this transformer technology, you don't have the problem of the resistive potentiometer and the impedance problem of resistor ladders, because all the transformer equations are working on your side. And it just is absolutely quiet, very, very low distortion, and it works. And that's the Allegri preamp.